Welcome to the Founderville.vc podcast. This is a podcast where we talk to founders and entrepreneurs, people in the startup innovation ecosystem, heck, anybody that just cares about entrepreneurs. My name's Shay Hauser, and I'm here with a good friend of the podcast, a friend of Founderville, an investor in Founderville, somebody I've known a long time. We were basically housemates at 411 University Ridge for a long time. Andy Kurtz. Andy's the founder and CEO of Kopis, a long-standing software development firm here in Greenville, and also the founder of Vigilix. And we're going to talk about the Vigilix story as part of this process. So, Andy, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming. Appreciate you coming out. It's a long drive from 411. 20 minutes.
Easy. There's no ice yet.
No ice yet. Yeah. Eric and I were talking about that. We're getting ready for the grocery store's already empty.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone.
It's crazy.
Yeah, maybe get some crackers.
Maybe get some crackers. The milk and the bread is definitely gone.
It's out.
I'm sure the beer shelves are empty at this point too.
Some of it's in my fridge.
Good. You're prepared then.
I'm ready. Prepped. I'm ready.
Hopefully we don't have another Helene situation.
I heard we can live solely on beer.
I'm sure that's possible.
True,
yes. Just carb loading.
I'd prefer not to try.
Right. Yeah. Well, food will be good too.
Yeah.
Well, great. Look, it's great to have you. Maybe a good way to start is to tell us about Vigilix, tell us about Kopis, tell us what the heck you've been working on, man, and then we'll back up and get into how you got here.
Yeah, so Kopis is the company that I now own. We'll talk about it a little bit, but I exited Vigilix a year ago. Kopis is a professional services company, and we focus on primarily Microsoft technologies. We help companies implement Microsoft technologies to make them more efficient. And the way I like to describe it is every company, especially growing companies, they have momentum. They're trying to gain momentum. There are things in their business that are causing friction to that momentum, and process issues, growth issues, stretching them, opportunities for automation, opportunities for data, and see things better. And as companies grow, things that work don't work anymore, and it's time to replace them with new digital technology. And Kopis has all the services around the Microsoft stack to help companies do that. And so we partner with companies on a model around helping them build momentum.
Yeah, that's amazing. I bet. I mean, the changes taking place right now must be astounding, especially
faster now than ever.
Yeah, I mean, supporting Microsoft and having the visibility that you have into so many systems and so many pieces of software and workflow efficiencies that are needed and how to plug in AI. I bet
it's been crazy.
You know,
we do historically we historically have done software development. So custom software was the word used when I started the company. We do a lot of Power Platforms, so low code, no code, Power BI for visualization. Do a lot of that still. In fact, that's a real growing area. We also are into implementing Microsoft's Dynamics ERP solutions for kind of the mid-market. So they have the ones that compete with SAP. We're not going to be the company that's going to go put in the AX. It's called Dynamics AX, but we're not going to put that solution in. But they have another one called Business Central. Was kind of Nav and Great Plains and those, it's that level of system. So outgrew QuickBooks. I always use the analogy of QuickBooks gets you to the third floor, and when you hit that ceiling, you need to get off the elevator, go over to the other elevator, and we can take you to the 10th floor or the 100th floor.
What does that look like? I'm just curious in terms of sort of size of the business. I mean, it's mid-enterprise, but what does that even mean? What does that mean?
Right? Oh, that's a great question. So Microsoft's, it's called Business Central. It was built, the foundation of it was a product called Nav, which came out of Europe. So Navision, a lot of people may have heard of that. So it actually has an incredible foundation for multi-currency and dealing with that kind of stuff. I think that's why they picked it as their cloud platform. But what is mid-market? I mean, honestly, Nav can be a company that's hit $10 million. All
right.
And so when you hit the ceiling of QuickBooks depends on what you do, right? So you're probably not going to hit the ceiling on QuickBooks just because you hit 10 million and all you're doing is GLARAP. It'll handle it. Maybe you need audited financials, and QuickBooks makes that a challenge because you can just go change anything anytime. But maybe it's manufacturing or distribution, and so you're 10 million, but you have complexity that you need an ERP. So the cool thing is this platform can replace QuickBooks, can replace an MES system, all one integrated ERP system, cloud-based. But it's for companies, I like to say 10 million, and it can go up to $500 million
Oh, wow.
or more.
Okay.
I mean, it can handle that multi-location, international currencies, handles all of it really, really well.
Okay,
So,
got it. And you guys operate all over the region.
region and even on our ERP solution nationally.
Okay, no kidding.
Yeah.
And then a chunk of the business is enterprise. A chunk of it's public sector. If I'm
we actually
correctly.
have. I break the business into 3 chunks. There's application development and kind of system integration, but for private sector. We do this, and so that's going to include application development and Power Platform, Power BI, visualization. There's private or public sector, state government primarily.
Okay.
So we do chunk about 1/3 of the business, state government work,
Yeah.
doing that same application development, hero systems for different agencies in the state. And then 1/3 of the business is around Microsoft Dynamics and implementing ERP solutions for those companies. And Power Platform, which is Microsoft's low-code, no-code automation, it's their they have a platform called Power Automate, so to automate workflows, and then they have Power BI for visualization, right? That tends to be where the 2 intersect.
Okay.
So, when we do application development, a lot of times there's visualization or
Makes sense.
Workflow automation. When we do ERP, there's automation, workflow automation, and there's visualization. So that tends to be the intersection of the 2
Got it.
pieces.
Well, you've built this company over 20 years now?
27. I started it in May of 1999.
Tell us how you got there.
I'm not going to go into I'll tell you the brief version of that
sure.
story. So I'm actually an accountant. Landed in Greenville, going to Furman University. My dad was an accountant. Accounting just made sense to me. Although I did go to Furman because they had a computer science and business degree.
Okay.
The computer science stuff bored me because it was this mainframe stuff that I was learning, and I had been self-teaching on a PC. So I had this proclivity to do software development, and I was self-teaching that stuff, but PC-based. Well, fast forward, got a job with Price Waterhouse out of college in Greenville. Back when we had a bunch of Big 8.
Yeah, no
firms.
kidding.
Big 8 back in the day here. Back in the day, public accounting didn't jive with me. I was not a good auditor. Yeah. I might have been a good auditor, but I was not a motivated auditor. So I went to a client who did industrial automation, and I was their controller, but I started building software there, building some systems to help them manage and track projects.
You were actually doing the coding.
I was actually doing coding there, even though I was their controller. And so fast forward, that company, I left that company, and in trying to find how to eat, I started getting opportunities to write code. And just people who, just in networking, it's like, I need this written, I need that written. So I just started building custom software myself.
No kidding.
I was doing it with Floor Daniel at Floor Construction now. And I literally was sharing this story just recently with somebody where I came really close to joining Floor full time. And at the time, they paid everybody hourly. We agreed on our rate, and then their HR came back and said, it's going to have to be $1 less an hour. So for $40 a week, I said no. And I stepped back and think about that, and
That's wild.
so I was like, no, I'm not going to take a job. I'm going to go start my own company.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit more to that story because I kind of was involved in something else, and we were doing some work with BMW. And so when I started Kopis in '99, I've had the fortune of having a relationship with a Floor, having a relationship with a BMW.
Right.
Gave us a good foundation.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I'll tell you, in '99, we grew fast because .com.
Those were fun times.
Oh my gosh. If I could find a developer, somebody was going to hire that developer. It was like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
And then in March of 2000, it wasn't anywhere near as fun. So, and then honestly, in September of 2001, it became even less fun.
Yeah.
And so we went through a quick up, down, and then a little bit more of a steady rise.
Right.
So,
yeah, those are. I mean, starting a company's hard enough and stressful enough, but then to have the .com boom and then the implosion that happened in March, April of 2000, and then of course 2001, it was more than any startup could handle, I think, at the time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, for us, it was 2 things. It was .com and it was also Y2K was going on.
Yeah.
So we were helping companies get ready for Y2K and all those things, and then it evaporated in April of 2000.
So thinking back to that, like post sort of 9/11, I mean, what did the company look like at that point? Was it you and a handful of people? And
It was.
how did you even keep it going at that point? I mean, was it
muscle?
Just
honestly,
grind?
brute force. It was brute force, and it was lean. So that was one of the things I've told people. There was some value to being lean at that point in time when we were only. When things burst, we were just about a year old, so we hadn't had time to
really
generate.
Up.
We had a lot of people, but we didn't have a lot of overhead, and so we had to let the people go when the clients said, "Hey, we're done." So we grew pretty quickly, and then we dropped back down. So I think we started. There were 3 of us when I started it because, like I said, we had some. Because of previous stuff I was doing, we had some projects with a BMW and a floor.
Yeah.
But we went up to about, I think, 11.
Wow.
And then it was down to 5.
Okay.
And then it was, okay, now we're starting
just starting
now
to
we're
really
just going to
build
start a
from
different
here.
climb. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was a more steady climb.
Yeah.
Although I will share, one of the things that happened is, for me in 2014, I reached this almost breaking point because I had just been always running the company. And I was doing the sales. I was doing project management. I was helping design systems.
Just doing everything.
And we were growing. We weren't growing like this, but Kopis was growing.
Yeah.
But it was just becoming crushing because I wasn't sharing the load at all. And so it was in 2014 was the first time I started bringing some other people in and started adding some management and letting some things go. And that was hard.
Yeah,
to do.
Letting go is super hard.
It is super hard, and it hasn't always been rewarding.
No,
I've had a few bites, and
there's no way to add team members, especially senior team members, and not make mistakes here and there. I mean, it's inevitable. So up until 2014, you were literally like chief cook and bottle washer doing everything.
I've always told people our org chart was Andy,
everybody else. Yeah.
Boom, there was 2 lines to the whole org chart. There was nothing else.
Yeah.
And then we just started adding some layers and some people who came in and helped. And we grew. We really started to. That's when we started hitting larger growth.
Got it.
We today we're at about just under 60 people today.
Yeah.
And so. Now we also had Vigilix, which I spun out of Kopis.
Okay.
We did some development. Well, actually, with Vigilix, I had this picture in my head of this product, and we had a client who said, "Hey, if you build it, we'll buy it." So I built it with bench time. What a terrible way to build a product.
Why? Just because?
No consistency. No, it takes so long. And when you take bench time and you say, now you pick it up, you end up with a hodgepodge.
Got it.
Because different people are coming in. And, of course, every engineer can build it better.
Their own way, yeah.
So you end up with a bit of a hodgepodge. It's not focused. It's a good use of bench time, but it's not the best way to build a product.
Okay.
The other thing I learned the hard way is building a commercially viable product was very different than building a perfectly successful application for one client.
Got it.
So different.
The client gives you spend so much time figuring out exactly what the specs, what is needed, every feature set, and you're building custom specifically for that.
For them, around their solutions. It does what they need it to do.
Yeah.
But the minute you hand it to somebody else, they don't need to do it that way.
Right.
So we built it, and I learned, like I said, we built it. This one client bought it and used it, and they used it for about 20 years. But they then when we decided, well, we're going to spend a lot more money than I thought I was going to spend building it in the first place.
Shocker.
They sure didn't spend. They didn't buy it for what I'd put into it.
Okay.
So how are we going to recover that? Well, we went to market and I spun it into its own company.
Yeah.
I actually brought some people on board, and we started going out trying to sell it. And when it hit the streets and people were starting to use it, it's like, well, they needed to do different stuff. And getting it to commercially ready compared to we're going to install it for you and you never have to install it again. We installed it once for you. Oh my gosh, that was night and day. And of course, those were in the days where you gave them a CD and they installed it too.
Loaded.
That wasn't a cloud-based solution that you're multi-tenanted. That's kind of changed that paradigm.
No question. So you spun that out of Kopis in 2014?
No, I spun that out in 2003, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty
okay.
quick. We were only 4 years into Kopis when
No kidding.
When I spun
I didn't
Vigilix
realize
out.
Vigilix was that old.
It was that old. Yeah.
No kidding.
We spun it out. We took a stab at selling it. We had no good idea of what our market. Vigilix was a monitoring solution. Very much today there's MRR solutions that are out there, very common for MSPs to use MRR solutions to manage and to monitor remote systems. We basically built an MRR platform is what turns out we built.
Okay.
Didn't have, the name didn't exist at the time. And we identified our target market as IT departments, which meant every business with a computer. So
anybody with a computer guy, you're a client potential.
That's how we narrowed it down. And when we went to market, it didn't work so good. So, I took money when we first went, it wasn't when I first started Vigilix, but fairly quickly in, I took friends and family money, and I got a loan actually at the time from SCRA.
Okay.
And what I learned really, really the hard way is I was not ready for money because we were pouring into marketing and both marketing and building features.
Yeah.
But we hadn't sold enough of it to know who our customer was to market it.
And really what they wanted.
Yeah. And we burned through that money. And so with Vigilix, the most interesting element or zigzag in that story is there was a day when we were running out of money that I'd friends and family and all these things. And I basically stepped back and said, well, this is not going to work. So I scaled the team back dramatically. And I looked at we had sales, but not enough of them. And I looked at everything we had done, all the people with a computer we'd sold it to.
Right.
And was like, what's the most interesting use case we sold? Or unique use case we sold? And it was gentleman who wanted to use Vigilix to monitor point-of-sale systems.
Okay.
So not his computers.
Right.
He wanted to monitor his customers' computers.
Okay.
Because he wanted to be ahead of them calling him, telling the point-of-sale system wasn't working.
Oh, got it.
So the great thing about that was it was in his revenue stream. It was part of his, it wasn't an internal efficiency ROI. This is part of my support contracts. This is revenue to me.
Yeah.
And it was niche, point of sale.
Yeah.
So it turned into point of sale, basically point of sale solution providers. So we just started working. We worked with them. We'd already worked with them. And I just went to everybody else who looked just like them, who sold the exact same point of sale system, and was able to say, we do this for this point of sale system, and it makes you able to do Y.
That had to make it so much easier from trying to sell to basically everybody to like you find this narrow niche and you've got a wedge for that niche.
Got a wedge for the niche.
I can solve that problem right there.
It was a game changer for Vigilix. I had like you said, I had a wedge, I had a story, I already had a solution, it was already proven, I had a use case. I also had a list of exactly who I was selling to.
Nice.
And I've told people, instead of fishing in an ocean, I was shooting bottles off a wall.
Yeah, yeah.
And literally just went down the line. And then the really fascinating thing that happened that I didn't think about happening was they were using the fact that they were proactively monitoring solutions as part of selling and getting new business.
Yeah, sure.
Well, the people that they were selling against got tired of I bought it from them because they got this monitoring. Suddenly we get a phone call, and it's a guy, still point of sale, but a different product, who says, hey, I want to talk to you about that. We build it for one, make it work for them. Okay, who's everybody else in the country who looks like you now?
Yeah.
Another product. And so as you look at the point of sale market, we just kept working through ISV solutions in the point of sale market. Working with the VARs selling it, what problems do you have? Let's solve it for you, and then let's go to talk to everybody else who looks like you. And we ultimately built up a library of, I can't even remember how many point of sale systems, but we had templates for every major hospitality
that's awesome.
And retail point of sale system, and we're one of the larger in the country. So
you were at that point you're essentially running two companies.
I was.
And you at that point, you hadn't even really brought on additional senior management into Kopis. So you were running two companies.
Yes.
No wonder you were losing your mind.
They were running me. They were. And I've told people while I was able to exit Vigilix, and the reality is the advice I would give to any entrepreneur is focus.
Yeah, of course.
I did not focus. I did two things at the same time. And as a result, I think I didn't do them both to the best ability each one could have had.
Yeah.
I gave it 150% probably.
Sure.
But that means each got 75%.
Don't you
Does that
think
make
that's
sense?
don't you think that's a common, I think that's a common challenge with a lot of startup founders is it's everything from chasing revenue wherever, it doesn't matter what it looks like, where it's coming from.
Yep.
I'm going to chase it because I have to have the revenue.
I have to have the revenue. Yep.
To if one customer or potential customer says, I like it, but I need this feature, well, I got to build a feature.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like I feel like these are common discussions.
It is common. Now, these were two totally different businesses. So within Vigilix, early on, there was a whole bunch of going and talking to somebody, we need to add this, we need to add this. And there are some stories, if you talk to some of our folks of, especially that previous Vigilix employees, early ones, of me being on the road working to sell it with somebody, and I'd go meet them. Like I'd be in another city meeting with a VAR, talk to them that day, and that night I'd be like, hey, tomorrow morning at 8, I needed to do this. And they made it do it, but they also ultimately left because they were really tired of me running them that way. So
selling features that you don't have.
Well, I said, no, I'm sure we can do that. Now, I want to walk in tomorrow and do that. And there were a lot of days where I stayed up till 3 a.m. doing it myself, making the product do it.
Holy cow.
But that was how we seeded it.
Yeah.
But so that focus is one thing that I learned. The niche, and so much easier. Yeah. We sell this to these people, and it gives them this value.
I love that. God! I feel like, Andy, I swear, I feel like I have that same discussion with founders all the time, which is like, quit trying to boil the ocean.
Yeah.
Literally, just find this one. All you need is this narrow slice.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be a big market, but just go sell this particular product into that. And then you can eventually land and expand into other stuff.
Oh yeah, there's adjacencies.
There's adjacencies
that
for sure all the time.
Yep.
So, but I think it's just human nature, its tendency to just go run wild.
It is, and that's where I wasted money. I really did, because I just did blanket marketing to try to boil the ocean.
Yeah,
and pouring fuel on a fire that you've already proven is working. Mm-hmm. And especially where it's that niche. I know it, and I know the message, and I know it works and resonates, so much more effective. And the same with the development. It's like, and listen, you got to get to the point where you have something to sell.
Yeah, of course.
So you got to have that to overuse, that MVP is so overused. But you do have to have something.
You have to have a product that works.
You have to have a product that brings some value.
You have to have real customers. I mean, how do you know you have a real business? Because you have real customers paying bills and they're coming back. I mean, the dogs are eating the dog food and they're coming back. I mean, to your point earlier, like, wasted money. Like there's not a company that I was involved in to where I don't look back today and go, I cannot believe how much money I wasted on A, B, or C or D. And it's everything from senior management hires.
Yep.
Making the wrong hires, to mid-level management, making the wrong ones there, to trying direct sales when I really wanted to do channel, or trying to sort of toe the line and do them both. Mistake, like building my own software instead of outsourcing to people who knew they were doing. Mistake.
Well, I mean, there's all sorts of it. It's really obvious in the rearview mirror,
right?
Isn't it? I will say I've never made a decision that somebody challenged me recently. Name the decision you made that you knew was stupid when you made it. And I'm like, I cannot.
Yeah.
I really thought they were good decisions when I made them.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I may not have adjusted quick enough once I realized they were not out of stubbornness, but I certainly didn't make them. So all those things you're talking about, I'm sure you didn't walk in going, this is stupid.
No, of course not. No, it felt like the right decision at the right time. And I think, the ability to know that you've got to pivot or change from the decision, like self-awareness.
Yeah.
To come to that conclusion and being humble enough to realize, like, I just kind of stepped in it and I've got to change right now. and then communicating that to the team, whether it's like we're changing direction.
Yep.
Those are hard
hard
decisions.
things. Those are hard. The
very
stubbornness
things.
and maybe a little bit of, hubris.
Hubris for sure.
And maybe a little bit of, that's just going to be hard.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yes. I've chickened out on decisions because
I
it's
hate
just
to
going to be
say it.
hard. Yes.
I hate to see it.
Yeah.
You eventually typically have to make them.
Yes. You can't get around them usually. They're usually there.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's the truth. Oh,
It is so much the truth.
But I
yes.
learned a lot from that Vigilix experience.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. It was
So
a good one.
did you feel like Kopis was already going, so you didn't need to raise capital for Kopis? You had sort of grinded your way through that and got it to where
I did. Listen, it's so much easier to do that, to bootstrap a services business, because you can find more work, add some people, and you've added a new layer.
Generating revenue.
And you're generating revenue. And so unless you're trying to do that,
Yeah.
if you're trying to hockey stick, which I did not do with Kopis,
Right.
it was a steady Eddie growth type of thing. You can do that in a bootstrap model.
Yeah.
And so on a platform, it's way harder.
Yeah, for
on
sure.
a product. I mean, you've got number one, like we just said, you got to have the product.
yeah.
So
You've got to build the product.
You
That
gotta
takes
build
money.
It does. And even going out, I mean, selling the product takes money
Heck yeah, it does.
too. And so, and now I think it's almost gotten maybe harder from this. When I say that, now you're probably going out and selling a SaaS model. So it's awesome because it's recurring revenue.
Yeah, of course.
But when it used to be a big check and then littler ones, well, you
Yeah.
got some big checks.
Yeah.
You sold one, you got a big check. Well, now you sell one and you got $300 a month. Okay.
It takes a lot of time and a lot of money.
It takes a lot of more. And now the value of getting that built,
Yeah.
I learned that because in the end, Vigilix turned into a recurring revenue. That was our model.
Oh, great.
And so when we first launched and we were selling it, like I said, we didn't succeed, but we were generating, we'd get checked. It was the perpetual.
Yeah, perpetual licenses.
20% annual support
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. But so that helped buy us time to be able to pour into the platform. So I think it maybe takes, I do believe it took less. If we had had the right market selling that way, it would have taken us less money to get there than what we needed with the SaaS.
Got it.
Platform.
Yeah, the SaaS, I think it's, I mean, just thinking about like some of the Founderville portfolio now, I mean, there's selling annual licenses or subscriptions for $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000.
Yep.
You know, well, that's $300 a month, $250 a month, and it takes a lot of $250 a month
does.
to stack up. It can create enormous value 5 years, 10 years
And
from now. Those
predictability.
could be
Yeah.
really, really great businesses, but they're eating up capital. I mean, we're watching high growth, and the faster they grow,
Oh, it
like the
actually
more
can suck
capital
in
they
more.
need, because
Yeah.
essentially, it's to your point, it's the customers, the existing customers are asking for, they need this feature, they need
Features,
this product,
support.
and it's the whole, it just continues
Yep.
to eat capital until it doesn't. So
Until it doesn't,
We're trying to
exactly.
push a lot of them along until
See, that's the trick.
they don't get
that's
there.
one of the tricks is we want you to grow fast.
Yeah.
Because we want you to get to that point where you don't need capital,
need
and you're
capital.
self-sustaining.
That's
But at the
right.
same time, if you grow too fast, you're going to waste capital. So it's a real it's a balancing act.
It is. It is. I wish I had the solution. I don't.
I think
each
it's a
one of
case
them's
by
different.
case.
Each one of them's different.
It
I
is
mean,
totally
each
case
one
by
of these
case.
companies has a different market, a different sales motion, and even at the early stages, as you probably found with Vigilix, I mean, it takes time to figure out what that sales motion is. I mean, and once you think you've got it, then it shifts again, and it's
yeah.
a never-ending.
We had multiple
moving,
times.
where you got to
type of
figure
thing
it
happened.
out.
Yep.
It's not simple.
Yep. I remember the other big story for me with Vigilix. There was one point where we were going out to test the market. And this was when we were switching to point of sale. And so I went and did a little tour and talked to a bunch of these providers and was like, okay, if we make it do this and it costs this much, is that?
Yeah. Will you
and they're
buy?
like, yes, we will. So I did do that. And so once again, we had a foundation with this one company, so we didn't have to do a ton. But then I went and asked them for a check.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between telling me you're going to write a check and writing a check. It was really easy to tell me you'll write the check, but then when I came back and said, "This does it,"
Yeah.
you ready to buy? Oh, no.
I've learned that lesson too, Andy.
Yeah.
It's I think, I've never bootstrapped a company. Every company I've done, I've raised capital in including the funds.
Yep.
And in the early days when it was closing time and people dropped out, I would get really angry and
Yep.
frustrated, and I couldn't believe that they would betray me personally after committing. And then over the years and over the times, now I'm just like, I automatically know 15% of the committed capital is going to drop out the week before closing.
Yep.
Like, and it's just going to be a
Build it into the
surprise.
formula.
It's just going to be a surprise, and it's going to be people I don't expect, and it's has nothing to do with me, and that is fine.
Yep.
But it's just crazy. To your point, it's like it's one thing to tell me that you're going to pay me or write a check, and then it's another to like
Actually
cash
write
the check.
Oh boy, those are two different things.
My our lawyer Bo Russell, he drives me crazy because he's usually right, and he's always like, cash check? Is the check cash yet? And he's always, did you cash it yet? I'm like, Bo, I don't have the check. Told you.
Yep.
It's like, don't
Listen,
say that.
this has been when I've talked to founders who are trying to build a product company, and so many of them are like me because I was an engineer at heart, and so I was like, I want to build it.
Yeah.
I have this picture of what to build, but it's like, man, just get somebody to write you a check for something.
Yeah.
That's the minute they write a check, you got validation that they want it.
You've got a business. You got something there. Yeah.
Until you do that, you got a good, really interesting idea and a hobby.
It's I think frustrating at times, really sort of sad watching when founders go out and spend a bunch of money building a product without having any time in the market, without talking to customers. They're building what they think the clients need.
Yep.
And it's like, oh man, that was a $150,000 science project, and you have no idea at all if a customer's going to buy it. And then inevitably, the customers don't buy it.
Yep.
And that's when they typically hit that wall of, I need another $150,000. And they've tapped friends and family to rebuild what they really want.
Yeah. Yep. Been there.
Yes. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think it happens all the time. I mean, I see it a lot.
Listen, I think we stripped out more functionality of Vigilix than we originally than we landed with.
No kidding. So you just made it more and more narrow.
We built so much, and then over time, as our point of sale customers kept telling us what they wanted, we would just start saying, "Well, we'll never need that feature. We built this. We built this when we were doing this big, broad thing, and thought people would want it.
Right.
Spent so much time and money building these things."
Isn't that counterintuitive? Isn't that interesting though?
Yeah.
How it's this big, it's this huge product and feature set, and then it's this what they really want is this narrow slice.
But you know what? We built a giant toolbox where we could go to anybody and say, "What do you need to do?" And they're like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And when we went to them and said, "It does this and it helps you in this way," they're like, "Got it."
Yeah. No, that's great.
Totally different.
Yeah, fix one particular issue.
That's it. Yep.
So you exited Vigilix at the end of 2024?
Well, officially in the first 2 weeks of 2025 is when it
closed.
When it closed, yeah.
Congratulations.
Yep, that was.
I know that felt good.
It wasn't a home run, but it certainly was a win.
Yeah, I'll take wins all day long.
I'll take it all day long.
Yes, that's 20-year overnight success.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And probably not the longest startup in history. So
no, there's plenty of old. It's interesting on the Wall Street Journal. These different. They always talk about a company like OpenAI, the startup. I'm like, they're 12 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It takes some time to get
Palantir
those legs.
Startup. It's like it's 20 years old.
So yeah, exactly.
Not a startup.
Exactly. It's just finally gaining traction.
No question about it.
Yep. Yeah. So that was a fun moment.
Yeah.
So
interesting
process too.
Where do you see? I mean, just given where your visibility with Kopis, I mean, you're seeing you have entree to so many different clients, enterprise and public sector. What is your perspective on just LLMs, application AI? Where, like for your business, where do you see the opportunity?
Well, first of all, for us. Personally, there are ways it can make us more efficient.
Sure.
And so I think it's giving us the ability to provide better, faster, more velocity to clients than we used to be able to do.
Right.
There are some things, for example, for us, what I'm about to describe, I think applies to a lot of our clients can leverage this as well. But one of the things, the historical way of figuring out what does somebody need, what are the requirements of a solution you're going to provide, we're going to go sit down, we're going to talk, we're going to interview, and then I'm going to take my notes, and then might be a bunch of us, we're going to compare, we're going to go write up a document. This is what we think you wanted, and this is the scope of what you wanted. There are paradigms where we can now sit down, same interview, I'm going to take notes, but we're also going to record it. It's going to get transcribed. We're going to feed all that in, and we're going to have a process with AI to produce. These are the things we talked about. This is what we decided is in. This is needed. This is what we decided is not in. A document that really details the scope of what's necessary and what we talked about, and to get that to you so fast that you can review it when it's fresh on your mind. Instead of the old model of, hey, 5 days later, here's the document. And you're like, I got to remember the conversation now,
get back through it.
So this whole rapid requirements gathering has been really powerful.
Yeah.
Obviously, it can help in development.
Sure. And are you seeing that? Are you seeing within your team, are they beginning to leverage these tools, a lot of the tools to speed their process?
Oh, yeah. They are. It's interesting because we have internal discussions about AI building and replacing developers. And I personally can't tell you if someday that maybe that'll happen.
Right.
One of the interesting things, though, is a really small application, you can probably get a working prototype. And if it doesn't have to handle crazy edge cases and it's not production critical, okay. But if it's a more complicated application, and then, the AI can get you there faster, it can certainly help with specific things you're working on. Certainly. I'm trying to build a method to do X, Y, Z, and I can get the code and, okay, that's great. I got a couple changes to make. But one of the things we can't talk about is we need to have people who understand what it's doing.
Yeah.
Because when it doesn't work, are we going to rely that AI is going to figure out why it's not working and fix it? Or we're on the line.
You got to fix it.
So we got to get it fixed. Now, if we can leverage AI to help us do it, great. But our team can't just say AI built it, so it'll fix it. No. You got to understand what it's doing.
That makes sense.
And you got to. So the other thing is, and I experienced this a long time ago with just even code generators way back in the day, is getting to 70, 80% fast. That last 20, 30%.
Right.
Not as fast. And sometimes it's not 20 or 30% of the time, it's 70% of the time. But if it takes, 10% of the time to get 80% of the way there, and then the last 20% takes, another 50 longer than 20%.
Right.
But you're still less than 100. You're still winning.
Faster. Yeah.
So what we're seeing is our team is leveraging it, and more and more, but they're leveraging it to increase our velocity, which for us just helps us deliver faster and more effectively to the clients.
Better product.
Huge believer in that. Well, two things. There's LLMs, so huge believer that they have a lot of value to add for a lot of different use cases for clients. There are things around. I've talked for a while about the idea of capturing institutional knowledge. You got people who walk around. They do this process all day, every day.
Yeah.
But they're going to retire someday.
Yeah.
So how can you get that information out of them into a place where you get it out of somebody's head and you get it in a place where it's accessible to the whole company. So there are a lot of different paradigms that we've talked to companies of leveraging LLMs, but there's also the agentic AI model of just simply, it's not all just LLM, right? There's also just, hey, we have a process there. We want AI to own this bit of this process.
Yeah.
And I find it fascinating to work with organizations to break their processes down into more granular steps and figure out where do you need people and where might you need AI, where can it help you, and doing that in a way that's minimal risk to start with.
It seems like that would be an enormous opportunity for you guys, just as particularly small to medium enterprise, but as they think through workflow inefficiency, how to leverage AI. They don't have the technical chops to do that. They need somebody to come in and help figure out, like, these are the bottlenecks inside of the workflow, and these are the ones that are taking, they require all this human intervention. Build me something around that. That seems like that.
I think it is. But I will tell you, I think right now in the market, it's so new.
Yeah.
That we're seeing a little bit of a freeze, just a paralysis of I know I need to go there.
Super interesting, yeah.
I know I need to go there.
Right.
But I'm not ready and I don't understand it quite enough.
I don't get enough.
But I know I also don't want to do it the old way.
Yeah.
So it's almost we're waiting.
Huh.
Now we have ways we can help and models with lower spend where we can, hey, let's slowly iterate to moving towards this model.
The places I've seen it make the biggest difference quickly are things like marketing communications, sort of go-to-market strategies, sales, meaning email, LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh, that
type stuff. Yeah. I've been blown away. I'm using this new tool called Manus, And I just had to, like, I'm not a developer at all, right? I just got in there and started working with it, and I know enough to be dangerous, but I've learned enough to where I'm like, marketing is completely different now.
Yeah.
Like that's complete. It's those days are over.
Yeah, oh, it's changed. It's changing certain. Yep.
You know, you don't go to an agency and ask them to go run a SEO and email, LinkedIn type campaigns. You just don't need that anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
There are a bunch of different paradigms, I think, that we're going to see like that. It's just and places where, you know, we've seen on support desks, AI can really help kind of in that first pass triage.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I heard a story, I think it was at a Microsoft conference, about putting in and turning on, when a ticket first comes in, can AI, with some level of confidence, reply?
Yeah.
And have a conversation about the ticket. And they actually had to throw in slowdowns.
Golly.
Because you'd submit the ticket and the answer would come so back. And then if you replied to the ticket, it came back so fast, customers were actually freaking out because it was too fast.
Jeez.
So it was obvious it wasn't a human.
Yeah.
So they could have gone that fast, but they actually built pauses in to make it seem like somebody thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
So, but that's a really logical one to me of a ticket came in, I'm going to see if I get the answer, try to get a confidence score.
Yeah.
And if I have enough confidence, if the AI model has enough confidence in that, then can it then send the answer.
Yeah.
And at some point it's like, okay, this is done. I didn't help them. They need help.
Right.
We're getting into the level 2, and it's going to be they'll talk to a person, but it's a great first use case for that kind of stuff.
I can imagine you guys are going to be. Is this whatever the messy middle, the in between right now, where it's people, to your point, saying, I'm just not ready to move, but I know I need to move, but I'm in the middle. I would imagine that's not going to last a whole lot longer. It seems like the dam will start to break to where there's just white paper after white paper and proof inside of the applications that it can do this, it can do that, and then you can sort of bring it into different clients.
Yeah, the other thing is that the tools and the platforms that we can use to do that kind of stuff have improved. So we've talked about, we actually made investments a year and a half ago, for example, on to help clients do certain things with LLMs.
Yep.
And we spent our time and money to build things and then 6 months later it's integrated into Copilot for Microsoft or something like, or Chat, and it's like, we kind of learned, we're not going to beat these guys. And if we're running into a roadblock and trying to implement the technology, they're going to probably address it. So the ability to do it and do it efficiently is it's really picking up steam.
That's awesome.
And so it's exciting. Yeah. It's fun.
It's be crazy times coming up for sure.
Could be. We'll see.
I think so. Well, man, this has been fantastic. It's been great to catch up with you. And Andy Kurtz with Kopis, y'all. Listen, man, I'm just glad you're in the ecosystem because you've been a stalwart of next gen, of everything we've been building here for a long time, and I appreciate the efforts.
I appreciate it, man.
Forward. Yeah, absolutely.
Love this community.
Let's get ready for this winter storm that we're going to have, and hopefully we keep our power and we don't,
maybe we stop by one more 6-pack.
One more. It's always good. You can't have too much.
Can't have too many 6-packs.
Right. All right, so this is Founderville.vc. I believe this was podcast episode number 23, I think, and we are over and out.